Good day. Welcome to News Now on TV 360. I am Thelma Okoro. The death toll in the outbreak of meningitis in Nigeria has risen to 745. The outbreak currently affects 5 states in the country: Zamfara, Sokoto, Katsina, Kebbi and Niger, all in the country's northern region. In a statement, health authorities said over 8,000 suspected cases of meningitis have been reported across the country as at April 17th, but only 230 have been confirmed by health authorities. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control says enhanced surveillance activities have so far contributed to increased case findings and more timely reporting of the disease. Meningitis is the inflammation of tissue surrounding the brain and spinal cord. It spreads mainly through kisses, sneezes, coughs, and in closed living quarters. This current outbreak of meningitis is the worst outbreak ever experienced in Nigeria since 2009. Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari has suspended the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babachi David Lawal, and the Director of the National Intelligence Agency, Ayo Oke. The President's directive was contained in a statement from his office on Wednesday. The President has also ordered an investigation into corruption allegations against the top government officials. Lawal has been accused of embezzling funds meant for handling the humanitarian crisis in the northeast part of the country, while the Director General of the Nigerian Intelligence Agency was suspended after the discovery of more than $43 million in an apartment in Lagos. Corruption and mismanagement have threatened to intensify the humanitarian crisis in the northeast, where 4.7 million people are on the brink of famine. The Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja has officially reopened after 6 weeks of closure for repairs on its runway. Even though the airport was scheduled to open on Wednesday, it opened a day earlier on Tuesday. The Abuja airport was closed on March 8 for 6 weeks to enable rehabilitation of its 3.6-kilometer runway. A test flight from Kaduna International Airport landed in Abuja on Wednesday, with Hadi Sirika, Minister of State for Aviation, on board the plane. Also, Ethiopian Airlines became the first commercial flight to land on the runway of the Abuja airport.
The April 19th was the due date for us to conclude and open the airport based on our program of work. And then that is not saying that we cannot open earlier. We were able to deliver the project earlier than anticipated, and then we can open it. There is nothing wrong with opening it a day earlier. And here we are today. We set out to achieve that target. We achieved the target. As you could see, the other works like the taxi way markings are still going on, which is non-critical for us. It's a routine, usual thing that would continue, and any other thing that we would see. But all of those safety critical matters have been dealt with. The runway has been completed completely, and it's in perfect shape. We just landed now on the same runway. The final exercise was this morning. The friction test was carried out, and they found that it meets the international standard and the ICAO standard and recommended practices. So the runway is safe, is good, is perfect. We thank all of you for.
Meanwhile, the reopening of the Abuja International Airport didn't go without a hitch. A passenger on board the Ethiopian airline which landed at the Abuja airport says the flight was diverted to Abuja without the knowledge of the passengers. He says the flight was supposed to land in Kaduna before it was diverted by authorities to Abuja.
I am upset because I was scheduled to land in Kaduna, and then all of a sudden I found myself in Abuja. Nobody told me that we were coming to Abuja. My driver is in Kaduna waiting for me, and my car is there. The keys to my house is in Kaduna. And then all of a sudden I just heard the pilot saying that we're landing in Abuja, and that's rather upsetting, so I didn't like it. But other than that, the landing was smooth. The runway was actually smooth and beautiful. So at least I'm happy about that. But other than that, I'm upset because I'm stuck right now. I have nowhere to go. I can't get into my house and I can't get to the airport. It's going to cost me more to get home than from Kaduna. It would have been nice at least if we were told. And I asked the airline and they told me that they were instructed to land. Do you understand? We had planned that today's flight would be the last flight that would land in Kaduna. Do you understand? So fine, there's no rush. The airport is here to stay. There's no rush. They could have told us earlier on, it would have been okay, we would have made arrangements. But other than that, just because you want to say that the airport was open early doesn't mean you can inconvenience. Other people are affected.
The Nigerian army says it has killed 6 Boko Haram terrorists in Borno State, northeast Nigeria. A statement from the army says the terrorists were killed during a raid on one of their camps in the area. Several items, including some money, were also recovered from the insurgents. The troops also rescued a 36-year-old woman with gunshot wounds abducted by the terrorists. Police authorities say a suspected leader of a kidnap and militant ring terrorizing Ikorodu, Lagos State has been killed by the police authorities. Police spokesperson Jimoh Moshood said the suspect, identified as Endurance Ominisan, was killed in a gun battle with police officers on April 16th. He's an indigene of Ondo State. The man is reportedly responsible for killing 4 police officers and an army captain earlier this month in Ikorodu. According to the police authorities, before his death, Ominisan also confessed to a number of crimes, including the kidnapping of school children and staff of Turkish International College in Ogun State, as well as the kidnap of a traditional ruler, the Oniba of Ibaland, and some militant attacks in Ikorodu and other neighboring communities in Lagos State. The Nigerian Medical Association is calling for effective collaboration with stakeholders to ensure affordable and accessible healthcare delivery in the country. Mike Ogirima, president of the association, made the call at a public presentation of NMA's Strategic Plan 2017 to 2022 in Abuja, the nation's capital. Ogirima charged both the government and the private sector to work together to bring the healthcare system of the country back to a reputable standard.
The Nigerian healthcare delivery system has for long been a source of concern because of the depth of facilities and scarcity of manpower occasioned by brain drain. While the wealthy routinely fly of the country to seek medical attention, most Nigerians are left at the mercy of poorly managed healthcare centers manned by poorly committed and ill-motivated healthcare workers.
The strategic plan.
It is in this light that the Nigerian Medical Association is organizing this forum to chart a pathway for the revival of the country's health infrastructure. Presenting what he called the NMA Strategic Plan 2017 to 2022, President of the association, Mike Ogirima, said 70% of this disease burden in Nigeria is domiciled at the primary healthcare level and rural areas, where most of the country's population resides.
Of immediate concern to NMA is improving the healthcare delivery at the primary healthcare level and in the rural areas. NMA notes that 70% of our disease burden in Nigeria is domiciled at the primary healthcare centers and rural areas where most of our populations resides. We also note that whereas the rural dwellers harbor more disease burdens, they are the least empowered to tackle this unfortunate endowment.
Other speakers criticized healthcare professionals in the country, saying they are not doing enough to address Nigerians' healthcare challenges.
If the health sector in Nigeria is performing effectively and efficiently, we won't be here. If the health sector in Nigeria is owned by those who should own it, we won't be here. And who are those people who are supposed to own the health sector in Nigeria? It's basically the people we surrendered our rights to governance. But it is failing.
The NMA started in 1952, even though it was a branch of the BMA, Veterinary Association. It is very important that we realize that from that date, from inception, the NMA has been driving and striving for quality and a national health system.
While noting that the NMA has a crucial role to play in ensuring a world-class healthcare system, the Speaker said the strategy of strengthening of the NMA will go a long way to revive the sector. They also advised the government to take a closer look at healthcare delivery system and address the issues squarely. Flourish Alonge, TV 360, Lagos.
The Nigerian presidency says the weekly meeting of the Federal Executive Council will not be holding due to the Easter holidays. Presidential spokesman Garba Shehu confirmed to journalists present at the villa when it became clear that the meeting would not be holding as usual. The federal government had declared last Friday as public holiday to mark Good Friday and Monday as another holiday to mark Easter Monday. However, Shehu said the two-day holiday made it difficult to make memos available to ministers 3 or 2 days ahead of the meeting, as it is usually the norm. INEC Chairman Mahmood Yakubu has revealed that the Commission will soon commence registration of voters ahead of the 2019 general elections. The chairman, however, did not reveal the date for commencement of the registration process. He says the window will be open for anyone above 18 who wants to register. The exercise will be conducted nationwide, and lost voters can also be retrieved during that exercise.
In the exercise, we shall soon commence. Citizens who have reached the age of 18 years, those who did not register before the last general elections, those who wish to transfer or relocate from one state to another, or within a state from one town to another, or those who did not collect their PVCs before the last general election will have the opportunity to do so. Similarly, internally displaced persons who were not registered before the 2015 elections will have an opportunity to do so. Those who have lost their PVCs due to dislocation, but whose names are verifiably on the register, will have the opportunity to collect new PVCs. And depending on numbers, consideration will be given to long-term displaced persons still living in IDP camps nationwide or resettlement centers, be they in the northeast or the Bakassi Peninsula or anywhere else nationwide.
The chairman of Chachangi Airlines, Amadu Chachangi, has passed away. Chachangi died on the way to a hospital in Abuja on Wednesday morning after a protracted illness. He started Chachangi Airlines in 1994. It later began operations on May 2nd, 1997, and was one of the most popular airlines in the country at that time. However, for several years now, it has stopped flying commercially in major airports in the country. Chachangi, who is based in Kaduna, is survived by 3 wives and about 33 children.
Corruption not in my country.
What is wrong with Kilo man saying no? Tell them I drew for more than 1 hour.
Ìyá mi, ọ̀rọ̀ yín náà ni mò ń ṣe. Ọ̀rọ̀ yín náà ni mò ń ṣe. Ká kúrò fún Ọlọ́run. Ká satisfy yín níbi ọ̀rọ̀ yín náà ni mò ń ṣe.
Ẹ wo jẹ́ ká lọ jàre ká kúrò nbí báyìí.
Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ má bínú. Hello ọ̀gá. Màá dọ́dọ̀ yín lẹ́sẹ̀ yín. I am assure you 5 minutes. Màá dọ́dọ̀ yín. Ẹ gbà bẹ́ẹ̀.
You are deceiving another customer just like you deceived us.
The same way he deceived us.
Eh? Why?
Ètò ni iṣẹ́ yìí. Bó o bá kúrò ò lè jẹun, ò lè jẹun. Bó o bá kúrò ò lè jẹun ìyá mi. Bó o bá kúrò ò lè jẹun. Workshop mi lélẹ́yìí. Ibi tí èèyàn bá ti ń ṣe ló ti ń jẹ. Ìyẹn ló ń pè ní workshop. Ibi tó bá ti ń work ni kó má ti shop.
You cannot base your business on lies. Go down now. It is corruption and it cannot work. Not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. It's now time for business news with Fidelia.
Thank you, Thelma.
The International Monetary Fund (IMF) says rising oil prices, continued growth in agriculture, and big government spending will drive Nigeria's economic growth to 0.8% in 2017. The IMF disclosed this in its latest World Economic Outlook report presented in Washington, D.C. The report also stated that growth in sub-Saharan Africa is projected to rise to 2.6% in 2017 and 3.5% in 2018. As part of its effort to sustain liquidity in the foreign exchange market, the Central Bank of Nigeria has injected $280 million into the market to ease liquidity. The Apex Bank also announced that it would now sell $20,000 twice a week to licensed bureau-de-change operators. A breakdown of the intervention showed that business and personal travel allowance, medical bills, and tuition received $80 million, while the small and medium enterprises window received $100 million. The management of the Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas (NLNG) has kicked against the 3% that the National Assembly is imposing on it to remit to NDDC from its annual budget in the proposed NLNG Amendment Act. The managing director of the gas giant, Tony Atta, says should the amendment sail through, the NLNG would be a victim of double taxation since it also makes remittance to the federal government. Our correspondent Abiola Ismail has that report.
The battle over the amendment of the act establishing the Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas (NLNG) is still ranging between the management and the National Assembly. The Nigerian Parliament is seeking to amend the NLNG Act to make it mandatory for the gas giant to dedicate 3% of its annual budget to the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC). It's a levy lawmakers say NLNG has not been paying for years, even when the NDDC Act demands it. The NLNG management is insisting the act that established the firm exempted it from payment to NDDC and other levies.
We buy gas, we liquefy it, we ship it to our customers. That's our business. There are other people who buy gas. The power producers buy gas, the fertilizer producers buy gas, the petrochemicals guys buy gas. None of these other buyers is being invited to pay the NDDC 3%. So in essence, as part of our engagement, as he mentioned, we often say we are targeted. And why are we targeted? But the repercussion, we believe, is not good for Nigeria. It's definitely not good for our company.
The firm is also warning that the action of the lawmakers could be very detrimental to the country's quest to attract more investment in the oil and gas industry.
If you talk about 27 and 28, we saw Tony said $25 billion of investment is going to come in. I mean, 15% is upstream already for gas that will come to 27 and 28. And then 10 billion is actually for the plant itself. And in that process, we're going to employ about 18,000 people during the construction phase. Now, you're aware that even the amnesty program of the last administration actually had such an impact. And if you take 18 people and you give them, 18,000 people and you give them job, that has a lot of impact in the oil and gas industry. So we feel that I think this amendment is not right. And this is a company that has generated revenues for government and shareholders, has paid tax. And if really we are aspiring to move towards where Qatar is, I think that we should not throw the baby with the bathwater.
Despite the strong opposition from NLNG, the lawmakers are pushing ahead with the amendment, insisting that the firm is under obligation to contribute to the development of the area where it operates. All the troubles aside, the NLNG says it is looking at increasing its productivity from 250,000 tons of LNG to 350,000 tons annually, while also adding that it will continue to support the provision of 24 hours power supply to its host communities. Abiola Ismail, TV 360 Lagos.
Oil edged higher on Wednesday as OPEC said it was committed to eroding a global surplus of crude, but increasing shale production in the United States and still high global stocks threatened to pull prices lower. Brent crude futures was up 19 cents to trade at $55.8 a barrel, while US crude futures was up 15 cents at $52.56 a barrel. Crude fell in the previous two sessions, but it received a boost from comments on Wednesday by the Secretary General of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries that the group was committed to cutting inventories to the 5-year average. That's all on business. More stories coming up. Don't go away.
Mr. John! Mr. John! What is it now?
What is it now?
Please turn down the volume of your music. It's too loud.
And how is that your business?
It is disturbing me. I can't sleep.
And the same way you are disturbing my right to good music and where I enjoy it. Eh? What's wrong with you? Is there another person complaining?
Maybe we thought that you have lost your mind. Are you having a party?
I'm just respecting you, sir. You remember I paid my husband too.
You will not understand why we are complaining because you do not care about other people except yourself. Look, the transformation we need in this country begins in this compound.
Yes, now.
From you, and I. This your selfishness is an offshoot of corruption. And corruption
not in my country.
Go to your bank. Go.
Corruption not in my country.
At least 669 people have been killed in unrest that gripped Ethiopia for several months. This is according to an investigation report presented to the country's parliament on Tuesday. A state of emergency was imposed on the country last October after more than a year of violent protest. Ethiopia has faced criticism over its authoritarian approach to economic development. 17 more mass graves have been found in the Democratic Republic of Congo, bringing the total number found since last August up to 40. The UN says the sites were reportedly dug by Congolese soldiers after fighting with the Kamuna Nsapu militia in Kasai Central Province in late March. The government is fighting to put down a rebellion that began after a regional chief was killed in the region. Both sides have been accused of committing human rights violations. Moving on to sports stories now, the first Armed Forces and Security Agencies Marathon Championship will hold in Abuja on April 29th. While addressing a press conference in Abuja, Chairman of the Organizing Committee, Major General Saudana Davis, said 120 athletes will participate in the Half Marathon Championship. He said 10 security agencies in the country will also participate in the contest.
The Chief of Defense Staff deemed it necessary that sports should be one of the avenues through which he would like to foster this relationship that has been, cordial relationship that has been existing between us and other security agencies. And for that reason, he decided that we should host a half marathon competition amongst ourselves. As you are all aware, sport is one of the melting pots whereby not only for the officers but as well as for the rank and file come together and are able to meet one-on-one and share experiences. The composition of these participants comprise of the Army, the Air Force, the Police, the Civil Defense Corps, the Federal Road Safety Commission, the Nigerian Police, the Nigerian Custom, the Nigerian Immigration, the Fire Service, and the Nigerian Prisons, as well as the Nigerian Navy. This makes the 10 organizations that will be participating in the forthcoming competition.
Bayern Munich's manager Carlo Ancelotti has demanded for the introduction of a video assistant referee. He says some controversial decisions made by an officiating referee caused his team to lose against Real Madrid in the Champions League quarterfinals. The German champions were defeated 6-3 on aggregate by the Spaniards, exiting the Champions League at the quarterfinal stage. He said the referee was not up to the task and insists that Real Madrid's coach Zidane had the same negative view of the referee's performance. Bayern Munich's goalkeeper Manuel Neuer may be sidelined for the rest of the season after fracturing his left foot. The 31-year-old was injured in extra time during the 4-2 loss at Real Madrid in Tuesday's Champions League quarter-final second leg. The build-up to Cristiano Ronaldo's third goal led to the goalie to fracture his leg. Bayern have a maximum of 7 matches remaining this season if they beat rival Borussia Dortmund in the German Cup semi-final. That's it on News Now. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Thelma Okoro.